So welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about just the whole lifestyle between college and just life in general. Basically, for me, I don't know about you, Irvin, but when I was going through the college process, they were just telling me to, yeah, go to college. Like, you have to do this to make money. You have to have a certain type of job, and I believed it because at the time I wanted to be a lawyer, and I knew the only way for me to be a lawyer was to go to college. So like I felt like I had no choice. But then now I'm like I feel like college was not necessary. I mean, it was necessary for me, but like in particular for everybody else, I don't think it's as necessary as society projected to be.
Well, for me, like when I went to high school, I had a lot of talents, and one of the biggest things is that when you go to college, you have to kind of specify what you want to do.
Right.
Um, well, I was a musician in high school. I could have went to school for sports, for track.
Did
I
you?
was for like one semester, and then that's a totally different
But
conversation.
why'd you stop though?
Because when you go to college, you realize that you doing the sport, it's great and all because you're keeping in peak athleticism, but at the same time, like in the back of your mind, you start thinking about, is this really worth my time? Like I could be making money right now, I could be resting,
And I
I
went
could be
through that
studying.
same situation because I feel like in college you're more isolated because you don't have the same friends that you had in high school. All your friends went to different colleges, so you're like, yeah, I'm doing this sport, but I don't know anybody doing this sport, and it's like it's such a time commitment that I'm like I really could be working because now I need the money. I'm not 16 anymore. I'm 18, 19 years old. I need to have a part-time job to have my side money because I can't rely on my parents.
And like when you do like a college sport, when you do it, it's like you commit like 4 hours out of your day, 4 to 5 hours in your day, and you could be studying, working. That's a full shit. That's a part
And
time
don't you
shit.
guys go away a lot?
You do go away. Like I remember like you for track you basically have to be at the bus by like 4 or 5 a.m. You don't get back until 12 a.m. the next day. So you technically spend 16 hours from the drive to the place. The meet itself could be between 6 hours to 10 hours, and then you gotta do the drive back. It all depends how big the meet is, but it was a very time consuming day, and it'd be on your Saturdays.
Bro, I heard about that. I did. I just could never do it. I was too selfish. I was like, I need my time. Like, I don't even work on Saturdays, bro, because I got so much schoolwork to do. So once it comes to the weekend, I'm like, no, the weekend's my time to unwind. In high school, I was comfortable going to classes Monday through Friday and then going to track practice from 3 to 5:30. We did that every day throughout high school.
And it's one of those things like unless like you were that good and that gifted to be able to go to like the Olympic trials, do you find it like it's worth it?
I don't think it is. I lost my love for track because of college. It's like I tried to do track at two separate occasions in college, and I found myself realizing that I don't have the same time that I used to have, and I'd rather be putting my energy towards like making money or just my studies. Because in college, it's like you're not in class a lot, but like
Mm-hmm.
you still have a lot of work to do.
I think personally, if I was born into a different financial situation, sure, I might want to consider doing track.
Exactly. Yeah. If you didn't need to work, you're like, yeah, sure, why not? But track's another full time job on top of going to school, and you travel a lot. Same thing
Mm-hmm.
with basketball. Like any sport in college is a whole commitment. It's not a hobby at that point. It becomes like more like a job. And I think that's what's the difference between high school and everything.
Well, I don't know. Can you really call it a job? You don't get paid for it.
That's even worse. It's like an unpaid internship, and I don't believe in those, bro. Like for all y'all out there, if you're doing an unpaid internship and it's 40 hours a week, they're scamming you. Like I can never do that. But like also, you got to think about just you not having that support system in college. It's like it's not even that it's like a fresh start. It's just like everybody wants to go in and out. You go to class, you leave class. You're not building strong relationships in a classroom like that because we're all adults. We're all busy. We all
Mm-hmm.
have things to do. So it's not so simple like in high school where you just knew a bunch of people. And I think that plays a role into it too because like right now what's going on with the virus, I'm not going back to school for the rest of the semester. Okay? And it doesn't bother me that much because I don't really talk to a lot of people at Suffolk. I
Mm-hmm.
probably have like 5 to 10 friends in my 4 years there. 5 to 10 friends and that's all I can think of.
You think it's a, you don't think it's a problem right now, but watch when your graduation is virtual too.
I'm actually upset about that because I worked hard for 4 years. Like that's the only thing I look forward to. When I graduated from high school, I was like, yo, there's people that graduated with me that didn't go to school at all, that fell asleep in class, that didn't care. So when people congratulated me, I was just like, I didn't do anything. This is not an accomplishment. Come see me when I get my bachelor's. And then for me not to have a graduation, I'm just like, then what was the point of all of this? It's like my diploma's gonna be mailed to me. I was like, I'm better off just never going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like the only reason why I went to college in the first place, as I said before, is because I knew I needed to. Because for me to be a lawyer, I need to go to college. I need to get my secondary education. But like, for example, if you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer, and you want to do even something in business, entrepreneur, college is not really necessary. As long as you know how to manage your books and everything, it's like, it's debatable because certain aspects you do need a degree. But for business in general, like I think it's so broad that like if you really want to be an entrepreneur, you can buy a truck. You can start moving business. You could just, as long as you have the resources, you're good.
And it also depends on what you do. So like if you graduate high school and you decide, you know what, I'm going to school for music because that was one of my options that I had on the table.
You gotta be broke if you did that.
It's one of those things I kind of had to realize that like I didn't do drum corps. I didn't take it too seriously when I was young because a lot of these people who are going to Berkeley, who are going to all these like Ithaca,
Right.
they've been around music since they were like 5, and I picked it up when I was 10, and I probably didn't take it seriously until I got to high school. And just taking a look at it, I was just like, I wasn't prepared for it. I need to make sure that when I got out, I had something lined up. And for a lot of music kids, that doesn't always happen.
So, what college did you go to?
I went to UMass Boston, and spur of the moment because I was good at a lot of things, I decided to go to school for finance.
Do you regret it? You think you got your money's worth? Do you think you made the most out of it?
No, to be honest, no, I didn't. I'm just thinking about it right now. I took finance and I had to do the 4 years, and I could tell you that for the first 2 years, it was all prereqs. Then I ran through it and I was just like, oh, I'm finally learning this. I really just thought about I'm actually learning my second semester of junior year. And then
You're already done at that point.
I'm already done at that point. And then like when I looked at like your curriculum because they put it online for you, the finance like portion of everything, it's only 5 classes. Psych, it's actually only 3 with 2 electives. So I'm like, I could have been in and out of college within a year if you really think about it.
But why do you think they keep you in college for 4 years if you don't have to be?
First of all, college is still a business regardless at the end of the day.
I agree.
It's also, I feel like colleges kind of put this kind of like mindset in place, like it gives kids enough time to decide if they don't know what they want to do. They have the first 2 years of college to decide, maybe I can switch my major.
But my thing is, right, I think that's a scam because you use the first 2 years to decide what you want to do. And then now you're not going to graduate in 4 years. You're probably going to graduate in 6 years because you have to make up for those 2 years, right? And then if you're not a full-time student, you have to pay out of pocket, right? And then if you're a full-time student, you have financial aid, but like most people, they have to take out loans. And then just think about how much time they give you to actually pay off those loans. They give you a 6-month grace period. And as you may know, it's hard for people to find a job right outside of college. So like, what do you think about that?
Believe it or not, I actually called one of my good friends from college. I hadn't spoken to him since September when he helped me and one of my friends move. I called him last night because he's graduating in May, and I was so proud of him. But I had to call him. I was like, bro, like you need to make sure you make your connections real quick and real fast because the moment you get out, you're gonna realize that, especially because UMass Boston, their graduation is the last day in May.
Yeah, I mean, you graduated in June. I was like, what is this, high school? I was like...
Exactly, because I remember Brockton High's graduation was the Saturday after. I remember that. I had told him, I was just like, you're gonna be behind the ball in general because kids who graduate from Harvard, from MCPHS, from Suffolk, they already graduate for like in late April.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
now they've already gone through it, and now they're already applying for jobs. They probably already got accepted. Meanwhile, you're still in the grace period between your classes, finals, and graduation. And
what did he say about that? Was he looking?
No, honestly, when I called him, I was just like, it was just a thought in my mind because I was just like, bro, I like what I do for work, but it's just like like it's not about what you like to do for work. It's about how much money you're bringing in. And I'm like, it doesn't.
So how do you strike that balance? Because it's like you could be making a lot of money,
Mhm.
but at the same time you're not happy. But then also you could be not making a lot of money and then be like like the happiest you've ever been in your life. So how do you strike that balance? Like how do you know what's worth it in the job force?
I'm gonna be honest. This is probably the mindset that I'm probably gonna go moving forward. But screw it. Like, get the job that pays you the most at the moment. Trudge through it. Like, just keep pushing through it.
What if you got a toxic work environment?
Don't care.
Like coworkers are lying on your name saying that you're with other coworkers and stuff.
Guess what? That's gonna happen at any level.
Oh, word?
Yes, it's gonna happen at any level. So it's just like I realize that every workspace is toxic.
What about alright, what if there's some workplaces that aren't toxic? Maybe like less toxic than others. Like what if like, sometimes people can't even go into work because there's so much like people talking about them, spreading false rumors about them and everything. It's like there's got to be a place that is good for you, not like great, but decent.
Yeah, but when you graduate from college, it's not about your luxury. Like you just took out 4 years of loans. You're probably sitting at 6 figures of debt. Now you're trying to fix your life and trying to tell me that you're gonna go from $100,000 in debt to $100,000 in assets. Like it's a hard transition.
So that's why I don't understand. So is college even worth it then? Because all you're doing is acclimating more debt. Because if you graduate high school, you don't have any debt. So I'm like, is my education worth it if I can't even get a job?
I think that personally, it is good to go to college. I just believe that the rate on like student loans are so high, it's ridiculous. Because if I went into college with the information that I knew now, I would have spoken to my parents about possibly taking a home equity line of credit. The home equity line of credit is literally 3%, 3 to 4%. Your student loans, they're at least 10 to 15 and above.
And that's a setup because they know you're not old enough to have your own credit when you enter college. Most people don't, right? And then they let you get all these loans and co-signers with a bunch of a high interest rate, and they expect you to pay it back. A lot of people don't pay it back. People be like, "Oh, I'll just die and I'll go away." Like that's not what happens. It falls on your family and it's unfair to them.
It's really weird, but you're kind of put in this weird like path of debt for the next like 10 to 15 years after you graduate high school. Because like you have to take out student loans regardless. You're probably gonna take out a loan when you get a car, then you're probably gonna have a credit card. Those things are good, but you have to manage it in such a particular way that it's actually effective for you. Because when you want to go buy your house, if you don't have 3 lines of credit, they are probably not going to give you that house. So yes, it's nice to have your student loans. It's nice to have a certain amount of debt, but at some point, there's such thing as bad debt.
Okay. Because my thing is, why is it okay for somebody to take out a loan that has like a 15% interest rate for school, but if someone do that for a car, then there's a problem. So I'm like, why? Like, it should be wrong both ways. We shouldn't find you taking out loans for school acceptable. We should hold them to an accountability because why are we in this position? We're 18-year-old kids who don't know anything, and that's why I don't like the public school system. Not even just public schools, just high schools in general that keep drilling into you that you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, and stuff like that. Because I'm like, you could be anything you want as long as you know how to like express yourself. You can make money. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's smarter not to go to college at first. I mean, if I have kids, I'll probably encourage them, listen, take a year or 2 off, find out what you want to do instead of wasting my money and your time. That way, you can come back and go to college if you need to. Don't go to college if you don't know what you want to do.
I'm gonna be honest, you could still mess up in college and still finish in 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that's messed up and stuff. But, like, even still, it's like you have to bust your behind just to even graduate 4 years.
That's life.
And it's uncertain. I'm like, I'd rather just get out of high school, work for a couple years, find out what I want to do, find out more about myself. Because we don't know what we want to be or who we are at the age of 18. So it's kind of tough to have an 18-year-old make that kind of decision.
Most likely, you're going to change your career here and there. It's going to happen. That's just a life change. Everyone's going to go through at certain points where they like decide, you know what, this is not for me, I'm going to go do this. Just like when you move from one job to the next. It's part of life. But here's another thing too. When you like graduate college, you're applying for jobs. They don't care what you have a bachelor's in. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just about you having the piece of paper.
The bachelor's. Because I'm gonna get a bachelor's in sociology. I'm gonna go work in a biology freaking lab or something. They don't care. Like,
They don't care.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you have the bachelor's.
Yeah.
But like, what piece of advice would you tell people thinking about going to college or in college right now stuck?
That are stuck.
Yeah, that like they're stuck in limbo. They're just taking classes to take classes.
Oh, you need to stop. First thing I'm going to tell you this right now. You need to decide what you are passionate about. From there, you need to decide: is this actually worth like the amount of money I'm going to school for? Because let's say if you're going to BU and you're taking art, I'm gonna look at you kind of funny. Why are you taking art?
To them would be like, college is a nice resource. I wouldn't go unless I was absolutely certain on what I wanted to do. I don't think college is a place where you go to find yourself. And that just goes for everybody. You don't find yourself in college. You got to know what you want to do, then go into college. That's how it should be. That's how it should be treated. And it shouldn't be advertised as a place where like you need to learn. Like, I don't think college is more about learning. I think it's about networking.
Yeah.
It's like a gateway to that next phase in your life.
And you technically meet a whole bunch of individuals that are in your field. So
Exactly.
So you kind of network through that way, as well as you meet guest speakers all the time that you might eventually be working for. So yeah, college is a good resource for that because the alumni. But I feel like the price for alumni is not worth $37,000. It's not.
Especially if most of them you don't even know. They're not even legit like that. They just graduated.
Yeah, they just graduated. And then sometimes when you hear them, you ask them like, how'd you get here? And they just tell you luck. And it's like, if they're telling you luck and that's how they got there, luck comes with misfortune. It's on the same coin.
50-50.
It's on the same coin. So you really don't know if you'll make it or you just bust.
And that, with that being said, that brings an end to the podcast. I just hope anybody out there who goes to college or is thinking about going to college just thinks about what's best for them first and then go from there. Thanks for watching and listening.